That's true.
Nothing wrong with dogs.
He can pretty much do anything. Somebody was telling me the other day that he pays somebody $100,000 to roll his joints. Can you imagine that being your
I bet that guy earns
job?
it too. I imagine that
He's
guy
probably
has to roll
pristine.
so many blunts and joints for
How many do you
Snoop Dogg.
think he smokes in a day?
Oh, okay. Let's. This is
Somebody
a fun.
asked me too. They were like, "Do you think he even gets high anymore?"
Oh, interesting. He needs a tea break. He's got. He's got to get a tea break.
does.
I bet Snoop Dogg's got it planned out. He knows what days, months ahead
He
he's
probably
doing tea
does.
breaks on. If I had to guess, Snoop is probably at least 3 blunts on like an easy day,
Yeah,
and I think maybe 5 on a weekend.
at least.
Okay, so if we're going 3 times
I would say
5, we're
3
going 15.
times in an hour.
Oh, okay. Well, look, you got to imagine that Snoop Lion is commanding the most high potency marijuanas that he could possibly command.
I
And
believe it.
So maybe that cuts it down a little bit. But if we go
Maybe.
3 every weekday, 15, and then let's say 5 every weekend for another 10.
Yeah.
We got 25 a week,
Yeah.
and then we take that times 25 times 52. Oh, I can't do that math.
I'm not going to do that fast.
If I try to do a rule of thumb way, it'd be 5.
You can tell we're
Take 'em
millennials. We
10.
grew up on phone calculators.
Yeah, so I mean, if we take it by 10 and we do that 5 times, it'd be 250 plus 250 would be 500. 500 plus 500 would be 1,000. We're talking
a lot of blunts.
1,250 blunts.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to roll a blunt if you're Snoop Dogg's blunt roller? Goodness, probably not very long, but
He's
I bet
probably got it down pat.
he's doing it so well that it still takes a little bit of time. He's got to put a little heart into it.
He does.
Um,
That's probably part of the job description. Like, you got to be passionate about it.
I want to feel your love in these blunts. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not Snoop Dogg anymore. I'm Snoop Lion. We're
How about his smokeless campaign? I thought that was. Did you hear anything about that?
Snoop Dogg did a smokeless campaign, like edibles, like pushing marijuana still.
No, he had a tweet that went out that said, "I'm going smokeless." So everybody assumed that he was talking about stopping smoking.
Mm-hmm.
But then it came out a few days later that he partnered with Solo Stoves.
Oh,
Yeah.
Solo stoves are so cool for that.
I know.
My uncle got one for like a birthday present, and the no smoke factor it's a game changer at the kickback.
It's a selling point.
Yeah, at the uncle nephew kickback, we're just like
And they nailed it with Snoop. Going smokeless. Yeah. Have you ever seen the tabletop ones? Where you can like roast marshmallows on it.
I've seen
I
them,
don't know
but
what else you can do with those.
That's it. Strictly.
I think that's it.
They're strictly for marshmallows. They're too big to be a candle.
Yeah, they might have a little warmth to them, I would assume, but like, I don't know, if you're not just like banging out like multiple s'mores a week, I don't really know why you would get that.
I think the s'more has been underappreciated in culinary arts. And I think that if you take like s'mores and you were to blend those up, because I mean, it's just burnt sugar, right? If you take a s'more, maybe a little graham cracker, you blend that up, I feel very confident you could mix that into like an old fashioned, and you can make like a s'mores old fashioned that would just blow people's socks off. And we can go even further. I mean, we're talking about creme brulee being the like hottie toddy like fanciest dessert you can get at like 90%
Pretty good.
of high-end restaurant. You're telling me a s'more is that different from a creme brulee? I feel like you could level up a s'more in a couple of ways. That just
You
really
probably could.
You could elevate the s'more. I'm starting a campaign today. We're naming it "Elevate the S'more."
Elevate it.
Elevate it.
Ooh, like flying high.
That's right.
Snoop Dogg, all the themes about
we're
what you
flying
do.
high.
Yeah. I do have to say about the s'mores, though. You ever tried it with a Reese's?
Oh, ooh, that's a genius idea. I mean, there's
It's
nothing
so
wrong with
good.
the Reese's.
It's so good. Talk about elevating a s'more.
Elevate a s'more
Try
with
it.
a Reese's.
Yeah, try it with
Instead
a
of,
Reese's.
everyone does the Hershey's milk chocolate bar. Everyone loves that.
Classic.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
A Reese's instead is, I think it's probably a little genius. I bet you could almost even hollow out like maybe 40% of a Reese's, and then you could get a s'more and put it there and then re-chocolate coat it, and I bet you could sell those.
Ooh.
We call them I don't know what a fun mix between s'mores and Reese's is, but
Smeecies?
roars. I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't.
Right.
I don't know.
We'll let the listeners decide.
That's right. Yeah.
We could do a poll.
Yeah. I think everybody wants a roar. I could go for one right now. As a matter of fact, I wasn't so glad to be here with you on Fruit at the Root. And I mean, seriously, this is awesome what you guys have done with the space and really the vision of turning this into a place where we can throw these ideas out here from Southern Indiana and reach people all across the world.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing what you're doing for this startup community in Southern Indiana, and I mean, we couldn't be more of a product of the hard work that you've put in after graduating from your accelerator. I'm buttering you up. You're getting
You
red.
really are. Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm blushing.
But you've been absolutely instrumental in being able to take Proper Pilots to new heights, and that pun is so intended.
Well, I really appreciate that. I appreciate the intro, and I really want to get into Proper Pilots and just ways that maybe the root has been helpful in you producing fruits from that. That's a question I like to ask everybody at the end.
Uh-oh.
So get an answer ready at the end. But part of this podcast is about me having the coolest job in the world. I get to meet you and others like you that come and interact in the space in one way or another. And my dad and I get to have conversations with you all, but not everybody who is in the root on a particular day get to interact with each other. And we get to have more intimate conversations. We get to know you all deeper than a surface level. But not everybody gets to learn how cool everybody else is. And so that's part of the impetus for this podcast, period, is yes, I love knowing what people do, but we are all about the who. Who are you? Not just what you do for a living. I love knowing what you're doing when you're unproductive, because then that leads to productivity, right? If you're blowing off steam, how are you doing that? And I know I'm so glad that we brought up Reese's and ways that you can cook it and amplify it, because I had the pleasure of going over to your house.
Oh.
You and Elena were gracious and opened up your home so that I could come and hang out with you guys. And you guys have a really cool tradition of cooking that I would love for you to dive into.
Absolutely. So I just got so lucky. First of all, to have great guests come over and people we genuinely enjoy the company of. But something that my wife and I really love doing is I've been blessed with the ability to travel, and I truly think travel is just one of the best educations you can get, and seeing perspectives. But my one caveat to traveling across the world without my wife or my daughter was every meal I had to take a picture of it. And I mean, I've been absolutely ridiculed by other pilots. You know, like we're in Philadelphia, and it's like, why are you taking a picture of this Philly roll right now? Like, just eat it. Nope, look, rules are rules.
You ever heard phone eats first?
Oh, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, that's for the Instagram foodies.
Okay, well, color me an Instagram foodie, I suppose. But if I'm not sending a picture of what I'm eating to Elena, I have done wrong. I have done wrong. And I'll get home and she'll be like, I think you've had at least 3 meals that I haven't seen. So you're going to have to go ahead and explain those to me. And basically what we do is we take those pictures and later, right? The long camera roll, we got a lot of pictures to go through. But we'll just pick a picture one day and be like, okay, this was amazing. This is the atmosphere. This is the culture. This is all the things that really made this a defining experience. Mm-hmm. And really why I chose this restaurant or why I chose this food off the menu. And then we'll just try our darndest to recreate it at home. So it's like, okay, we got this picture. You know, there's a lot missing there. You miss the whole process, everything before, everything that went into it.
A lot of guesswork.
But we really enjoy it. We'll probably make it maybe 4 or 5 times that month. Of just like, how do we make this so that it actually reminds me of like, no, this is it. Like, or if it's not it, like this is what we would interpret it as like the most popular way to serve it here and now, or to our taste buds. And so, you know, we'll take this picture and we'll most recently we've done it on Crunch Wraps. So I mean, like, it doesn't have to be some faraway place.
You've
It
done
can be,
what on Crunch
It can be
Wraps?
Taco Bell. We like a Taco Bell Crunch Wrap. Nothing wrong with a
Good to
Crunch
go.
Wrap. And so, we do the whole thing. We got the big flour tortilla. We have a corn tortilla on top. We actually put it in like a panini press at the end to seal it all up. And
grill it up.
I mean, I hate to call out Taco Bell right now, but that's exactly what I'm doing. Taco Bell, you are on 24-hour notice. If you don't start making Crunch Wraps the way I make them, nothing against Taco Bell by any means. Live Moss, I think. Live Moss.
You'd think we were sponsored by them, but we're not.
Yeah. Well, maybe next time. We make these Crunch Wraps, and really the biggest filter we try to get through is we have a 13-year-old daughter. Her name's Chloe. I call her Doc. She's awesome. And she's kind of our, like, did we go way too chefy on this, or like, are we trying way too hard or not enough?
She's the final opinion.
She's like, you know what? As a 13-year-old from Kentuckiana, this passes. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, would you invite your friends over and be like, this is what we're having, and not be embarrassed by your parents? And that's like, if she's like, oh yeah, like, actually, like, I'm gonna text them right now, and everyone's coming over next week. We're doing this again because it's so good. That's when we know we can finally stop with that picture, move on to the next picture, write it down in the cookbook. We got that one all figured out. Go to the next picture. And
do you guys have accumulated
absolutely
book? Like, you have a recipe book?
Very early on in our relationship, we just realized that we both really enjoyed kind of making experiences out of food and kind of getting to know people that way. I bought like a leather-bound journal, and we started just making our own little cookbook. Goodness, I couldn't even guess how many pages it has now, but it's just something that my wife and I really enjoy doing. When you talk about ways that you decompress, or the things you do when you're not productive, this is probably the least productive part of my life. But
it's vital. You got to eat.
And it definitely releases like a creative bug and good family quality time. And so it checks a lot of boxes that really make me feel refreshed when I get to wake up at 7 a.m. and do it all over again with proper pilots.
Yeah, there you go. I know. And it's just like a really good way to spend time with somebody is over food, over a meal. And especially whenever you get to share it and make it for other people. I always enjoy cooking, but I love cooking for other people. And that was something that I realized with you and Elena too, whenever I came over, is how much you all like to be hospitable. And you were cooking that was made with love. Talk about Snoop's blunt roller, like that Philly cheesesteak was made with love. For sure. A lot of time and effort went into that.
Well, we loved having you guys over, so I'm happy that part came out. Really, what I think it is Elena and I and even Chloe, we're checking like, okay, so we made this thing that we think is amazing. Let's see if other people even think it's decent. And so,
the litmus test.
We love spending time that way and kind of breaking out our bubble. It's a cool way to be creative together and kind of try different things, or try different food even that we wouldn't necessarily eat if we were just at home by ourselves. And so, like, getting ready for that dinner party or for those guests, like, oh, we're doing Thailand, like, we're doing Thai curry, like, we don't know how to do it at all. And I'm sure someone maybe in Thailand would be like, what is this? What even is this monstrosity
very
that
Americanized
these kids in Indiana have made? But we love it, and we love to share it and get feedback. So
what's one of the best recipes you guys have made? What's one of your favorite dishes?
My absolute favorite is I wanted to name one right away that is in honor of my mom. She passed a little while ago, but she used to make this casserole for maybe like a church get together, a Sunday potluck kind of deal, and it was Popeye chicken, and it's kind of like spinach and curry and a lot of cheese, and it has cornflakes on top, and that's absolutely my favorite dish. But I think maybe one of my favorite recreations, because it's just so easy and simple, is we actually did the In-N-Out burger. We looked at everything that they do to put into an In-N-Out burger, and we recreate those at home, and that's like comfort food for us.
Yeah, because you guys are from the West Coast.
We are.
Yeah, Washington.
Seattle. Go
Yeah,
Dogs.
yeah. Man, and so I do really want to get into your backstory because your startup is very interesting, and I want to talk about prepper pilots, but how you got there. I mean, you took a lot of twists and turns before that. Like you were a college athlete, like you played basketball, you were a cop at one point.
Not a fun job in Washington, by the way,
Yeah.
especially during the Capitol Hill uprising and the Chaz autonomous zone during COVID. That I actually I stopped being a cop 1 month before like the COVID outbreak really happened. So it
Ooh.
was sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I think I keep saying that.
Yeah, but no, there's a lot of truth to that. That's a very thankless job, and it's scary.
That job is something that when I really got into it, it was just something I couldn't turn off. It was something that like, okay, we gotta hit the plan, do the next thing, make sure that we're setting everything upright, and it was definitely unhealthy. My kind of obsession with like, okay, how do we make this as safe as possible for our daughters that live in this community? And yeah, I mean, I was blessed to have Elena. Hey, you need to do something that you truly love. It's great. We have the house. We're doing okay. We call it the golden handcuffs. But she knew I wanted to learn how to fly planes. And so she pushed me, hey, I trust you. You can do this. Turned in my resignation, moved to San Diego to learn how to fly planes, Fighter Town, USA. Took the old GMC Silverado through the family and everything we owned down to San Diego. Went from never having flown a plane to being a commercial multi-engine pilot in about a year.
That's not easy to do.
Well,
Doing it in a year?
I think so. So I went through a flight school that is fairly well known for making it like if you're a student that wants to make money as a commercial aviator, this is the school to do it at and move at the fastest pace you can. You pay for it all up front. I mean, I was flying 3 or 4 flights a week, and if I wasn't flying, I was studying for the next flight to make sure I wasn't wasting money when I was up in the air.
Wow. Yeah, because you have to accumulate a lot of hours. And a lot of people do that by becoming an instructor themselves, right?
Almost always when you graduate as a commercial pilot, you're going to then get an add-on to become a certified flight instructor. And then you're going to become a certified flight instructor at the school you just graduated from.
Okay.
I think it kind of resembles a pyramid scheme or a multi-level marketing because it's like, we're training you to train the other people so that it all works out that way for the flight schools. But yeah, usually at about 260 hours you're gonna get your certified flight instructors, and then you're going to work for 2 years training pilots to get to 1,500 hours, where you're going to get your airline transport pilot license to be able to go to like your regional airline.
Man. Yeah, and I sense a theme with you, Tim. Every time I talk to you, nothing you do is halfway. You are pedal to the metal, full throttle, all in. I mean, it could be like tying your shoelaces in the morning and how you get dressed, but it is very apparent in what you do for a living. But it is also true with your hobbies and things like that. And if I'm not mistaken, we were talking earlier about your accident. Was this, it was a motorcycle?
It was, yeah. It was a motorcycle. I got into a little bit of a situation. I was in kind of a downtown cityscape, actually in Louisville.
You were in Louisville at the time?
University of Louisville saved my hospital saved my life without a doubt.
I don't know if I remembered that. So that was after you packed your family up again, and you started, because you had done some research too, right?
Yeah.
So walk me through that whole process.
Okay, yeah. So we talked about how almost every commercial pilot, whether you're at the airlines or whether you're somebody that's just trying it out or just getting started, I should say, the route is you go to school for a year, maybe 2 years to get all your licenses, and then you become an instructor at the school that you just graduated from. Well, I did that, and I graduated from a school in San Diego, but of course I couldn't afford to live on a certified flight instructor's hourly wage in San Diego with a wife and a daughter. And because of that, I was looking for the door. I got to find another way. I was actually driving Uber Eats on my Kawasaki Ninja motorcycle.
Were you really?
Oh, and it was wild. I mean, I was getting orders to people like 10, 15 minutes before the app told it. And they would be like, how did you do this? And I'd put my helmet back on and like on to the next.
Drive off into the distance.
Yeah, like I'd throw their food in my backpack. I remember one time with a pizza that was maybe a little extra greasy or something. It all ended up on one side. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, this is not good. Like, I didn't mean to do that too. And they're like, you got it here 30 minutes sooner than we expected. Like, I don't know how you did it.
Like the cheese is still melty.
Risking your life. Driving cutting traffic and splitting lanes because you're allowed to do that in California.
Man, not all heroes wear capes.
That's right.
Some
Helmets.
of them drive Kawasaki's.
Some of them wear helmets. And I actually bought that Kawasaki Ninja because right near where I did my flight training in Oceanside, California, they actually still have the original house where they filmed Top Gun.
No way.
I can't remember who the love interest is in the first Top Gun, but that house is basically like an up house now. And there's like houses like, oh, I'm sorry, the up house, with the old man that has the house that's like in between skyscrapers, and like he needs to sell his, like he needs to move it, and it's like kind of an old dilapidated house in between a rising area.
Oh, I've never heard that term before. I know what it is.
Yeah, the original Top Gun house where they filmed some of those scenes is what I would explain as an up house.
I gotcha.
Anyway, that was really close to where I did flight training, and so yeah, I was driving the truck, and then I realized that wasn't the quickest way to get around in California, especially. Yeah. And I wasn't going to do Uber Eats in it, and I needed to make a little extra money to make it all work. So I bought a little red Kawasaki Ninja, just like Tom Cruise had in Top Gun, and away I went. Yeah, I actually fitted it with piping to have like a surfboard carrier. So I'd have like this 9-foot surfboard on the side of my Kawasaki Ninja. Man, people thought I was insane for sure.
Are you serious?
But we had a good time. We finally decided, you know what, I can't afford to support a family off a flight instructor's wage in San Diego. So I made a spreadsheet. The average flight instructor hourly wage versus the cost of living adjustment from the federal government, actually. Campbellsville, Kentucky came out number 1 on the list. And so we threw everything we owned. I sold the Kawasaki Ninja. We threw everything back in the old Silverado. We drove 44 hours from San Diego to Campbellsville, Kentucky. On the way, I actually we were driving through Bardstown, Kentucky. We saw the sign, cutest small town in America, or something like that. I think a magazine named him that. We're like, well, we got to go through there.
How are you allowed to just name yourself that? So they were credited some kind of way.
I think, and Bardstown's a cute town. For
it
sure.
I know.
I love Bardstown. Bourbon capital of the world, I guess they'd probably call themselves now instead of the cutest small town. But I think someone voted them that at some point.
Okay. But it stopped you.
Well, we were like, well, we got to do that, and so we drove down, and I saw a now hiring sign on a window on Main Street in Bardstown, and we had just come all the way. We were only about 30 minutes from Campbellsville, so I was like, we're getting pretty close. I fresh off a 44-hour road trip. I had resumes, so we just parked right there on Main Street, and I saw people were in there and they had now hiring, so I was like, well, this is my shot. I walk in. There's 2, I believe they're Bosnian immigrants that were kind of rescued is the wrong word, sponsored by the Methodist Church in Bardstown, Marima and Javad Creso. And they were standing there talking about something. I said, hey, it says now hiring on the window. Like, I have my resume. Like, what's going on there? And Marima looks at me. She's like, how many years of bar experience do you have? And I honestly, ma'am, I haven't worked a day in my life at a bar, but I'm a commercial pilot, and I promise you I can do this. You start at 9 a.m. tomorrow, It's a terrible impression, by the way.
I enjoy it.
Marima, if you
Don't know how
ever were to
accurate
listen to
that
this, I love you to death. Her and I still get in touch. I am in trouble if I go to Bardstown and I don't stop in at Cresso's restaurant. So please stop in and have a bite to eat. Awesome. Awesome. Sponsored by Cresso Restaurant. Yes.
That's right.
If you tell Marima Tim sent you, you are in for a treat. I guarantee
You'll be taken care of.
So I'm running this little wine bar in bourbon capital of the world, and I'm the only employee. So I'm making the menus, making the food in the back, making the drinks in the front, ordering the drinks, doing all the things. And I eventually, we're having a good enough time in the little wine bar, and we get a couple locals and a good crew in there that I convince about 5 people to say, I want to be a pilot like you, Mr. Mystery Barman that came to town on a whim from San Diego. I want to be a pilot. And I was like, good, I'm starting a flight school. And they gave me $10,000 up front. I bought an airplane for about $20,000. Got them all their licenses with the operating cash that we had from the initial investment, and we started a flight school. The flight school went really well. We expanded. We actually moved into the Campbellsville area. I actually taught aviation at Taylor County in Campbellsville, Kentucky. At the high school, they had a Central Kentucky Career Academy where I taught high school for a little bit. Started to make a little career path for Kentucky to teach high schoolers how to go down this aviation industry career path.
I didn't know you did that. Like in
KEPS
high
certified high school environment. Yeah,
that's smart.
I did that.
You built a pipeline.
Yeah, well, I mean, you go to a small town like that, you're never going to have an endless amount of student pilots, and so
Sure.
basically the ones that tested the best in the class, I was like, great, if you want to learn how to fly planes, like let's go to the airport on the weekends and start flying. And
Wow.
we had some great students graduated out of that course. One of them I'd love to name Weston Garrett. He's flying PC-12s out of Danville, Kentucky right now, and he's really
Okay.
enjoying his aviation career. And he called me today, just, hey, Mr. Tweet, I just wanted to reach out, and that's a good
way.
Weston impression. The Marima wasn't good, but that was a good Weston impression. Yeah, finally, we were running this flight school for a while. We were doing a really good job graduating students and trying to make an impact in our local area. And I got the opportunity to start flying private jets, and I took it. Was kind of still running the flight school and helping operations out on that side. That's really where proper pilots came from.
Okay.
Was trying to run this flight school from Brazil or wherever I was on a private jet and try to run it from my phone, but the software didn't exist, so Derek and I built it.
Wow. Yeah. And before we get into that though, take me back, because I didn't realize you had your accident while you were running the flight school. I didn't know where in the timeline this fell.
Yeah, I skipped right over it. Something it's a regressed memory, maybe.
Yeah.
But so before I was a high school teacher, when I was just flight instructing and running the flight school in Bardstown in kind of that area, they call it the heart of Kentucky because Taylor County is kind of shaped like a heart. It's not dead center longitude latitude, but they shaped the county like a heart, so they could call it the heart of Kentucky, and it's close enough to the middle that nobody called them out on it. I love it.
How quaint.
Yeah, so I was doing flight instruction, and it was a rainy day after a flight lesson. I was driving home from the lesson, and I was having problems with the motorcycle, and I got in a really bad wreck that put me in for a coma for about 3 months, and woke up, never gonna walk or talk again. And I was like, what do you do with that information? 3 weeks later, of course, I had my mom break me out because I was like, I can walk and I can talk, and there's no stopping me. You can't kill a cockroach or something like that.
You shared that video with me.
Yeah.
Didn't she challenge you? Like, if you can get out of the car, or like if you can walk up these steps, whatever, like then you can leave.
I won't take
What
you
was
back.
it?
Yeah. So I was at the time living in, they call it a carriage house in Bardstown, which is just a fancy term for an apartment in the attic of a garage. A converted garage attic, carriage house.
Carriage house.
Carriage house. That makes it
Fancy.
sound nice. Yeah. No, I live in the carriage house. Sure. But because of that, I had probably, I don't know, 30 stairs to climb. And so I'm barely able to even take a single step. They won't let me out of the wheelchair because I have a plate in my pelvis that's like, it has to go through. We have to test this before you're really allowed to walk. You're never really supposed to walk again. But I was like, Mom, forget that. Like, she's like, okay, if you can walk up those stairs without any help, then I won't take you back. And so we drove, parked in the little driveway where I had been for, I don't know, maybe about a year. And I got out, took my first steps. I had a cane that was like a foot too small. I only weighed probably, I don't know, I was emaciated, so I was like 110 pounds. Straight out of the hospital, just a skeleton, really.
And you're not a small guy. Like, you're very tall. We can't tell.
I weigh a good 200, and then 200 with experience. 200 with experience, without a doubt, I'd pass that threshold. I mean, my mom said, okay, if you can do it, and I did it, and so I was like, I'm not going back. Like, I'm pretty hard-headed. I was like, you said I'm not going back, and my mom was a RN for 20 plus years in Washington. So if there was anybody that was like, oh, you have to do it by the book, but I convinced her, hey, I'm not going back. You can't make me. I did a little bit of physical therapy, probably less than I should have. My left hand's still a little bit slow. You'll never see me carrying like a glass of water in my left hand, just because it's not. Yeah, I'm not as stable on that side as the right side of my body. And even the feeling on the left half of my body is still like the nerves are still growing back. Apparently, they grow at about 8 millimeters a year.
Really?
And so I can feel about like halfway through my bicep, maybe. But anyways.
No way. But compared to being told you may never walk, you may never talk again, I would say you're doing pretty well.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm definitely walking, and I'm probably talking too much.
No. You like to entertain a room, I would say. You're very good at that. You know how to talk to anything, anybody.
Well, I just feel like I've just lived a lot of experiences. I've met a lot of people, all across the world, and I really feel like there's always more that we have in common than we have not in common, and there's always some shared ground, and
yes,
that's a good place to build a relationship and just work together and try to make the whole thing a little bit better for the next generation.
Yeah, very cool. And you said you might be slightly older in mind than you are physical in body. And I didn't learn this literally until today, and I still don't know the story about your actual experience while you were in the coma, and I'm fascinated by it. And you've been a guest on other podcasts. You've been making the rounds lately because you were just blowing up the startup scene. But this was actually a podcast that was not related to Proper Pilots. It was about your coma experience. And you haven't really shared this with many people before, let alone on a platform that shares this on social media. But I would love to get maybe the Cliff Notes version. Okay. What was it like?
Yeah, I'll give a quick Cliff Notes.
And shout out the podcast, because you said this is a 2.5 hour episode.
Well, we recorded that long. I'm sure they'll cut out a lot of me talking, because you can only take so much of that. It's the Blurry Creatures podcast. They did an awesome job. We did it virtual, remote in. They're down in Nashville, and they actually sent me an email. Hey, you gotta come down here. We gotta talk more about this story.
How did they know about it?
This is actually a more fun story than the one I'm about to tell you. All
right.
When I was in San Diego, our neighbors on Loretta Street in Oceanside, California, were a couple named Shauna and Tommy. We called him Tommy Guns. He was in the Marine Corps. Awesome
You got an
guy.
impression for Tommy Guns?
Tommy, you know what? Don't you're rage baiting me. I do not want to do an impression of Tommy Guns, but just your all-American barrel-chested hero, really cool guy. He's married to Shauna, and Shauna actually raises like working dogs, or like helps rescue working dogs after their careers as working dogs.
Cool.
She actually wrote a book called Some Dogs Have Jobs. It's a kid's book.
That's cool.
But it's adorable. We bought it for Emma for Christmas this year. And it's a little complicated for an 18-month-old, but we love reading it to her. And it's just an adorable book. Some dogs have jobs, and it just kind of walks through the different career paths for different breeds of dogs, which is super fun.
She probably loves the pictures.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's picking up on things.
We have a little golden retriever at home, and we might live in Indiana now, but we used to live in Kentucky.
Sorry, my mom's here.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I've met your mom.
You've met my dad a few times. But yeah, you'll meet her someday.
So when we were living in Kentucky, we got this little golden retriever, and we named her Indiana.
Oh, nice.
But then we moved to Indiana, and we just call her Anna now. It's actually from an Indiana Jones movie. I think it was the one where the Last Crusade, I think, at the end. Sean, I'm going to mess up his name. Sean O'Connor? That's not it. What's the real famous Sean O'Connery?
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. I
just
threw an O in there.
That's all right.
Sean O'Connery. Yeah. Nice to meet you. I forgot his name already.
Sean Connery.
I almost went back to O'Connery. Sean Connery, at the end of the movie, they're riding off with Harrison Ford on like horses. And he calls him, "Hi, Junior. Why were you doing that, Junior?" And how Sean Connery talks. And Harrison Ford's like, don't call me that. My name's Indiana. And he goes, "Indiana? We named the dog Indiana." And so we named the dog Indiana. And then, we ended up in Indiana. And she's the girl dog, and she's just the cutest little thing. We just call her Anna.
Yeah. She knows a lot of tricks.
Oh, she knows more tricks than I do. That's for sure. Very food driven. She's awesome. Our 1-year-old calls her Nana, and she definitely treats her like her little pup and kind of watches out for her, which is super
kind of like
cute.
in Peter Pan, Nana the dog.
That's exactly it. Yeah. But we try to call her Anna, and she got the Nana, and we're like,
That's
you
tough.
know what, Nana it is.
Yeah, you got to throw in that extra letter every now and then. It's all right.
Yeah, we got Emma and Anna, which is already confusing enough for us. Why did we do that to ourselves? I don't know.
So you're telling me how you got into the coma story.
Yes. Okay. Wow.
It's all right.
The webs we weave. When I was in this coma, I had a lived experience as if I was a different person in a different era. My name was Jason Scarborough, and I feel like I lived 38 years as this different person.
Are you serious?
I met my grandfather in the Korean War, and I was flying helicopters, and I got married. I went to high school twice, and there's the cliff notes. Go to the Blurry Creatures podcast to hear a little bit more about that story.
Serious?
Not a story I tell often. When you wake up after such a traumatic event, I was really focused on, I got a family to provide for. I got to get back to being a productive human as quickly as I can. I couldn't even walk, but I need to get all these abilities back as quick as I can to start earning money and get back to the grind, really.
Yeah.
And so all of that to me was just like, forget that. As soon as I woke up, my mom, my brother, and actually one of my best friends, Zach Burke, were in the room. And I was like, oh, goodness, this one isn't the dream. This is the real life. And so I just kind of popped back into being Tim Tweet instead of Jason Scarborough. And here we are.
No way.
Yeah.
How do you remember coming out of the coma? Like, did you make the decision to wake up? How did that work?
I was drinking coffee at home as Jason Scarborough, and I couldn't move the left half of my body. I couldn't talk. I could barely move anything. I was in a coma. Man, I had the scraggliest beard. That's where I learned that I can't grow adult facial hair.
Good thing pilots typically they just have the mustache, right?
Well, I think it's a clean shave thing that's a holdover from gas masks and making sure that you have a tight fit on gas masks. So if you get into a situation at altitude where you have to be able to take oxygen, you can't have anything obstructing.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, that's mostly why, like, the military or even cops or pilots typically aren't allowed to have facial hair.
Really?
Gas
I thought
masks.
it was purely like an aesthetic thing, just how you're presenting yourself.
And it might be. It might be a little bit of that as well.
Yeah.
But
Like
the
Yankees.
people, like the Yankees.
They got rid of that rule, though. Did you know that?
I think I heard that, but
It's crazy.
yeah, I mean, they don't have to wear gas masks if
they
you're a
don't.
Yankee,
Yeah.
hopefully. But as a pilot, sometimes you have to put on your oxygen mask to make sure that you're staying conscious and not hypoxic at altitude. In the military, of course, you're always worried about some kind of gas attack, especially if you're in like the Koreas or the Republic of Korea. Definitely on heightened guard there. And police, I mean, I guess to make sure when you don that gas mask, if you're throwing out like smoke of some kind, that it's not also affecting you. I believe that it's for that reason, but that might be just what that might be a little propaganda from big military and Air Force and pilot and everything and all of them combined, that we just don't want you to have beards. I don't know, but it's a moot point because when I woke up from this coma, I had the most scraggly, ridiculous 3-month beard, and that's when I realized, nope, can't do it. Never will try again. But yeah, I mean, I just woke up back into. It was almost a situation where you're like, I was doing pretty good flying helicopters in the military, and in that other life. I wish this was the dream, but this is real life. Like I'm talking to my brother, I'm talking to my mom, I'm talking to my best friend Zach.
Yeah.
And snap back to reality.
And you remembered them right away?
Oops, there goes gravity. Sorry. I'm just doing a lot of impressions.
Little Eminem.
So yeah, throw some Slim Shady
We already
at you.
talked about Snoop, so yeah, what's a little Eminem?
Natural progression.
Yeah.
Natural progression. And he's from the Midwest. I think, do people consider Detroit the Midwest? They have to, right?
I think so.
I do.
I think so.
Personally, Eminem, I consider Detroit.
You West Coast people do?
Yeah, for sure. Anything that you fly over on the way to New York is Midwest.
That's right. We are flyover states.
I'm making enemies. And I don't mean to.
You can't. That's impossible for you, Tim.
I don't know. You love them or you hate them.
Yeah. So, all right. You are recovered. You're still a flight instructor, and you are a flight school owner at the time. And then
at the recovery, yep.
And then what brought you to this area? And then into proper pilots. Let's launch into that.
We're launching.
Let's take off.
We got a lot of runway. We got full speed ahead would be a naval reference. So I go back into it. Obviously I can't fly. I have to work to get medicals back and really make sure that I'm healthy enough to be flying again. I finally get to that point. I start being an instructor operator again at my flight school. Really just get into building curriculum to teach my pilots. Like they want to be career aviators. I'm going to try to outline this path the best way I can while I can't fly. So I spent a lot of time just kind of writing and building curriculum and measuring training progress.
Okay.
That eventually turned into the high school certification as a high school teacher in Kentucky, and then I built some curriculum for high school students in Kentucky to become career aviators that some of the schools and counties have kind of adopted to bring on as a blue collar like vocational field at high school in Kentucky.
Dang. So you already had some experience at filling gaps in the aviation process.
That's a fun way to put it. At the time, I was just working at a high school, trying to fill seats at my flight school.
Yeah.
And it just kind of ended up that way, really trying to make a plan that helped people graduate, and kind of eliminated these historical barriers that kept people from being pilots, like financial, it costs a lot of money to do all that flight training. And just bringing a lot of transparency and clarity to the training process.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really think I was reinventing or changing or revolutionizing or disrupting or doing anything like that.
Yeah.
But I was definitely building the groundwork for what ended up being, my startup, where we've won a couple of awards here, the next big thing in Indiana, and the Vote Award in Louisville. And really our key focus is making sure that if you're going out on a limb and you're telling mom and dad, I'm going to be a commercial pilot, and you start paying for those lessons, we want you to finish. It just breaks my heart that over 70% of student pilots that pay for that first lesson actually never graduate and become commercial pilots. And so you have this huge attrition. And I think a lot of that is accountable to we're just not keeping data metrics on we don't see these people failing. They don't stop flying because they just don't want to fly anymore. Everyone wants to fly. Everyone wants to be Top Gun.
Heck yeah.
They fail out of a system that doesn't see them falling behind, and then they just disappear. And most people in the industry just kind of attribute that to, they ran out of money, or this or that or the other, and that's all they do. And we don't add anything to it, and they just keep advertising for more students to go into this 70% failure rate. And so Proper Pilots, my little tech startup with Derek. It's tiny. It's
Maybe now.
Itsy bitsy.
But not for long.
Oh, I certainly hope so. And I really just hope that we can help people that want to enjoy this career path that I've enjoyed myself, actually succeed and find valuable lifetime careers as a career pilot. And our goal is just to help them get there.
Yeah. So, all right, that's a great segue into giving me your elevator pitch for it. Like, whoever hasn't heard of Proper Pilots, what do you tell them? Okay.
It matters if you're a flight school owner or maybe if you're thinking about becoming a pilot. But the elevator pitch is 70% of students fail before they finish their training. And flight training creates a massive amount of data that no one's capturing. And so Proper Pilots captures that, and it presents it to students, instructors, and flight school owners as actionable insights to really help boost graduation rates and revenue at your flight school.
Okay. And explain too, this is an app where previously and still you're disrupting this industry right now in a big way, because as you've explained it to me before, a lot of flight school instructors, a lot of flight schools, they're still working in analog. They're writing things down, they're in Excel spreadsheets, but you and your co-founder Derek have found a solution that consolidates that entire process from being a student to finding a flight school to being a flight instructor who can recruit students. And then even on the back end of that, they can find planes. So people who own these planes can rent them to these instructors and these wannabe pilots. I don't want to say wannabe pilots. They are pilots, but...
Shout out all you wannabe pilots out there. We love you anyway.
Pilots in training, all right?
And even a little bit further than that, we take those certified flight instructors, and because if they've if they've trained in a Proper Pilots environment, that means that we have all this information about where they've performed, where they've excelled, maybe where they struggled and where they eventually succeeded. And we have all these data metrics that we collect on them over their pilot careers. And because of that, we can use that to go, hey, this is a good pilot. That solid foundation for a commercial pilot, and we're able to kind of underwrite for insurers and reduce the risks of bringing these pilots on at low hours to higher paying jobs like pipeline patrol or crop dusting or maybe light cargo, unscheduled. And so we're able to take these people that would have to be certified flight instructors for maybe the next 2 or 3 years, not making very much money, and we're able to kind of open up some career paths for them.
Really?
And then beyond, even if you're going to stay a flight instructor the entire time, you want to be at a proper pilot's flight school, simply because we open up this metric. It's the industry first metric for qualitative flight training, where we allow students and instructors to essentially rate each other after each flight. And now it's longer than an Uber ride. The relationship between a student pilot and a flight instructor,
Yeah.
it's longer than an Uber ride. And because of that, we can't just say, give them a 1 out of 5 stars, because if you do that, you gave me a 1 star, you ruined my perfect, 5.0. Oh, like you're killing my career, right?
Yeah.
Well, we can't cause drama in this relationship. So it's a purely positive feedback form. Hey, did your instructor go above and beyond on this lesson? Do you want to give him props? It's like, yeah, I want to give him props. Like he's a super, and it's why we named it Proper Pilot.
Yeah. And props is like the equivalent of loving something or liking something
it's a
on
like.
Facebook.
Yeah, it's a like, it's a thumbs up, it's a pat on the back.
Yeah.
You're giving them props.
Yeah.
And this is actually a public-facing metric for that certified flight instructor. So when you're choosing flight instructors, it's like, oh, this guy has 12,000 props on a Proper Pilot. It's like 12,000 times he's completed a flight, and his student was like, he went above and beyond. Great. That means that when you're in this list of 10 flight instructors, someone might see that and say, well, that guy has a lot of really good experience and people like flying with him. And maybe he charges $5 more an hour, and people actually say, I still want him. I don't care if it's $5 more an hour. It looks like he's worth it. So we open this market up for flight instructors to make a livable wage.
Yeah.
Without gouging. And it's just, maybe it's too much. It's $10 an hour more than this guy. And you're like, I'm going to take a chance on this guy with 5 props. Maybe he's up and coming. Maybe he just started. And it just really opens that open market system to flight instructors to make being a certified flight instructor a livable wage and job that you could stay in. Flight instructors that enjoy their work and are really good at their work, they just get better and better with time. And so we really want to foster that environment where we're creating safer pilots, safer skies, and just overall improving safety in the aviation and aerospace domain.
Yeah, because you've mentioned before that one of the issues with flight instructing can be it's a stepping stone, right? You said a lot of times for them to get their hours or to then get a job that requires experience, that's a natural next step to become a flight instructor. But then on the flip side, maybe they don't really want to be a flight instructor and they're just putting in the time because they have to. And so then the next generation of pilots isn't getting the adequate education or attention on their instruction and what they're doing. But Proper Pilots fixes that.
We help. Well, I don't want to say that we fix everything with a big Band-Aid, but we allow instructors to compete on quality instruction, not just the hours of instruction to get to, their end goal. It's not just a means to an end. We have this public profile where it's like, maybe you and John graduated at the same time as CFIs, and you both are like, well, I have 10 props, I have 11, 12, 15, 20, 1,000, and you're kind of going back and forth. Well, that's a system that we want to create because you're competing with your peers on giving extremely high quality flight instruction, which means that we get better pilots. It's just better all around for, flying safe.
Yeah. So do you have a demo handy? Do you have it on your website?
Definitely, yeah. You can go to properpilots.com, and is it going to pop up behind me?
Brian, yeah, can you pull up properpilots.com? And Tim, I want you to take us through a little demo, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
Because you really are changing the game. You guys have created a software, a digital way for people to go through your program. And it is kind of hard to grasp. There's a lot to it. And so if we can pull this up.
If you want to hit launch app right there, that'll launch you into our web. He's going to have to sign in. I don't know if you want to make a Gmail sign in. I promise we won't charge you for it. We typically charge $1 a week for our users. The thing is, the industry runs on Excel spreadsheets and these manual logs that you were talking about. I mean, the typical scheduling experience with your average Part 61 flight school in the United States is something like, hey, Laura, yeah, what time do you want to get to the airport? And, oh, well, it's maintenance, and then there's weather, and then there's other pilots that are flying too. And so you kind of got to deconflict all these separate issues. We'll give a quick little walkthrough. So
Sure.
I talked about what it looks like to schedule and deal with weather and other pilots and maintenance, and scheduling with proper pilots is typically as easy as 1, 2, 3 kind of taps.
Okay.
So if you hit schedule, it's going to pop up, great, click solo flight. You don't have a flight instructor, and you're not going to have an airplane because you're not assigned to a flight school currently.
Thank you, Nick.
But you would typically just click tap an airplane right here, and then that would open up your awesome. Thank you. Let's just go.
And too, if you can talk and do this at the same time, one of the cool things about the route and what my dad and I love to do is if people approach us with a problem or they need a resource, if we can't directly help you all or solve that problem, then we want to connect you with somebody who can. And the cool thing about our history is that we have a second location out in Georgetown, Indiana, which is actually almost literally in your backyard. It's a 60-acre technology and innovation campus. It's like a boutique industrial park. We are looking for specific industries in biomedicines, aerospace, health sciences, that kind of thing. And we're still at the very beginning stages of this. And you came to us like 2, maybe 3 years ago now, just interested. I think you kind of found us randomly.
Well, I bought a house in the county, and then all of a sudden this stoplight pops up, and then there's this big sign for a technology campus, and they're building an overpass over a railroad and and like a stream, and I'm like, what is happening across the street from my house? And so I literally just drove across and was like knocking on doors and like calling phone numbers because I was like, what is happening here? This is cool.
It's hard to know.
It's cool, but it's hard to know. And I was just excited about it. Like, oh, it looks like the area is really doing well. And we connected for the first time. We actually walked into the whistle stop, and this was way, proper pilots.
Was still an idea. It was a twinkle in your eye.
Just a twinkle in my eye.
Well, you had some of the software built, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the way that we were running our flight school, while I was flying private jets, we had to have some kind of system to essentially allow me to manage our airplanes while I was, flying around the world.
Okay.
And so we had a very rough layout for what it looked like for us to do it just with our airplanes, but we never really expanded to a point of like, hey, we want to bring other flight schools. We think other people could use this. I was getting interest from other flight school owners that were like, hey, you had a student that graduated and you guys use this system, and like kind of asked me about it. But I was like, I don't have the time or the bandwidth really to focus on it.
Yeah.
And I really didn't until, years later, and this would have been just February of last year.
Yeah.
When you put on the accelerator partnership with Matchbox in West Lafayette, Purdue. You kind of teamed up with them and brought an accelerator course to Whistle Stop at Nova Park here in Southern Indiana. I got lucky enough to get accepted into that accelerator.
Yeah.
I got to kind of learn from you guys and what it takes to really make a high growth business and a tech business in Southern Indiana and in the Midwest. And you actually gave me the confidence to say, hey, you know what? If I didn't try this, I guess it'd be like an old saying or quote or just a wisdom that most people have, that at the end of your life, you kind of regret the things you didn't do or the risks you didn't take, not the things you did do.
Yeah.
And so I thought, you know what, we have some money saved up. I want to take a risk and really try to change the flight training industry in a way that helps the next generation of pilots.
Yeah.
And that's the road that we're on, and we would have never been on it if it wasn't for Matchbox and yourself and the accelerator and Nova Park here in Indiana.
Man. Well, thank you for saying that, because the route runs because people like you come through the doors. And that is something that my dad and I believe wholeheartedly. We have such a vibrant, interesting, unique, intelligent community here. And a lot of people are underground or quietly successful. And I would say you are one of those people, but maybe not for long. I do think that you are getting a lot of the recognition that you deserve. And you guys are just at the beginning of your journey. I love that you came back again a couple years later to the accelerator program. And then you were able to connect with your co-founder who does coding. And he actually used to be a member in our New Albany location when he was working for another company. And so that was just such a cool connection point in a way for our worlds to collide again and just be a resource for you whenever you needed a solution.
There is no doubt that you're being humble. What Brigid isn't saying is that she introduced Derek and I, who would be my co-founder. And I mean, when we met up, we probably met up for the first time at Nova Park, and it was like, hey, I'm kind of doing this. And I was like, I'm kind of doing this. And both of us kind of had full schedules. And then, 2 months later, we met up, and you know what? This might be something that we really take seriously and we really push towards. And we both really kind of jumped in head first and started building this. And Derek is a wizard. I mean, I think science advanced to a certain level is indistinguishable from magic. And I seriously feel by that explanation, Derek is an absolute wizard. And I'm so lucky to have been introduced to him by you during our accelerator. And it's been an awesome experience. Moving between pitch competitions and getting press, and we're not trying to be the loudest people in the room. We're just trying to really help the next generation of pilots, because there's a lot of room for improvement, and whether we're the ones that end up being the ones that improve all these pilots and create safer skies for Americans that just want to see their mom and dad on Christmas. Great, but I love the change that we're helping bring into the industry and bringing data forward, because with AI's ability to digest information has just so exponentially increased our ability to take data points and give actionable insights.
Yeah.
Proper Pilots has really become a data company that is able to process all of these new metrics and all of these things that we just didn't measure before. Because it's kind of like a dog chasing a car. You wouldn't know what to do with it when you got them.
Yeah.
But now we know exactly what to do with it. We use large language models, and we're able to say, hey, we can hyper-personalize your training program. We can hyper-personalize your marketing for your flight school, because we know what days you're slow, or we know what lessons you're struggling on. We know what you need to read. We know when you need to read it, and we know how to make sure that we're creating pilots that are safely operating.
Yeah, data is gold. I mean, you guys are really onto something here, and we're so lucky that you decided to call Indiana your new home, and hopefully we'll have you around for a while longer.
Well, hey, I certainly hope so too. I really enjoy this area. My wife and I have kind of bounced around different places and parts of the United States, as we've talked about earlier. There's just no combination of people genuinely willing to help you, regardless of your politics, race, creed, sex, anything. I don't really want to know, because it just doesn't change the fact that I'm willing to help you, and that hospitality that we've found in the Midwest really earned a good place in our hearts, and it's something that we want to raise into our daughters and our children, and so we're so happy to call Floyd County home.
Very cool.
Awesome. So right up top, we put your training progress front and center. We have, if you click view training progress, it's going to load a checklist. And this checklist will take you all the way from never having flown an airplane. And if you scroll through it, you got to get your medical, you got to complete certain kinds of flights, you got to have a FAA written, you got to have a check ride, even all the way down to the hours that you have to spend to get certain proficiency in certain places as a pilot. Yeah, so after you complete your private pilot check ride, typically you're going to get your instrument rating, and then after your instrument rating, you're going to go into your commercial multi-engine, where you're going to earn up to 250 hours, and you're going to earn the right to fly for hire.
Wow.
And we're able to walk you through that step by step.
Yeah, it's laid out too. And it's like, all right, before you do this, you got to do these things first. So it's giving you a timeline, it's giving you an order, because there's a lot. Like I said before, there's a lot to that process. And you've made it simple.
Well, we've tried to put it where your attention already is, which is right on your phone. You know, I think there's a good way to say that we're connecting a lot of boomer flight school owners with a lot of Zoomer student pilots.
Heck yeah.
Look, if they're spending 90% of their time on their phone, well, why don't we make it so some of that time that they spend on that phone can be productive towards their goals that they actually want to achieve and becoming a pilot. If that's something they want to do, they can spend less time on Instagram. They can spend more time on properpilots.com, seeing what's something or I could study right now that would get me closer to this goal that I want. And simply by putting it in the palm of your hand or in your pocket or where your attention is, I think goes a really long way in improving those training outcomes and improving graduation rates, which ipso facto makes your flight school more profitable and everybody wins.
Man, so cool. So we are kind of at the end of this. I wish we could continue talking for hours. I know we could. But before I do, I would like to ask, we talked about a couple of the fruits maybe that you have received by being part of the Root ecosystem, but is there another specific win that you've gotten by getting connected?
I would be asking for more than I deserve if I was asking for more than just the intro that you gave me to my co-founder, Derek, that really set all this off, on top of the accelerator that gave us the confidence to pursue this and see this as a real opportunity and something that, hey, maybe I don't have to go to the airlines and maybe I could do this for a living. And I really wouldn't have ever had the confidence to do that if it wasn't for the work that you put in to build this startup community and ecosystem right here in Floyd County, Indiana, where the Root co-working space is, where Nova Park is, and where Proper Pilots is. Beyond those two massive fruits that you have bestowed upon me, I think that I'm absolutely the most grateful for just the relationship with your father, Mark, and yourself, and your genuine ability to connect like-minded professionals and just people that realize that the tide is going to raise all the boats. Mm-hmm. And so by fostering success in even the smallest little tech startup like Proper Pilots, to podcasters, to everything that takes us an ecosystem, legal and copywriters, and I mean, you can go on and on and on. There's so many pieces that it takes to have the ecosystem to build a successful company. And it's just so refreshing to see people that are willing to put in the work before the reward is really obvious to build a system that they know is going to, fruit.
Yeah.
That you guys planted the tree. And it's clear to me that it is going to bear fruit here someday soon, and I hope that you guys get to enjoy that. Maybe make some cider or apple juice out of the fruit that you guys helped cultivate.
We're hanging a hammock up in there.
All right,
be swinging.
That means 2 trees. You got to have 2 trees for a hammock.
Good idea. Yeah.
All right.
They might. Yeah.
Well,
they might be planting more roots. Never know.
Absolutely. I mean, well, you got this one. You named the second one Ristle Stop. It could have been the second route. We would have had our second tree. We could have hung a hammock right over I-64.
I mean, we can. Yeah, that is our second location.
All righty.
Might be more in store. You never know.
There it is. Well, I am so glad that those trees even exist to possibly bear fruit. And I'm just excited to be working in an ecosystem that has people that are genuinely interested in helping you pursue your passions and your dreams and bring them to fruition. I almost said fruition.
I like
that's
that.
a bad pun.
No, that's a good
Don't
one.
let me get away with that.
There are all kinds of puns. Well, that's awesome to hear. I appreciate that a lot. We're certainly glad to have you in this ecosystem because you are very humble as well. And you're talking about a lot of the ways that you are receiving, but you give probably a lot more than you receive and what you actually let on. And so your presence here has been amazing. We love having you. My dad loves hanging out with you. And what are some of the ways that people listening can support you, maybe if they're not interested in becoming a pilot? I know you've got like a fundraising round going on. You're planning on potentially hiring this year. You've got a lot on the horizon. So is there anything that we can do to further support proper pilots?
Absolutely. Hey, if you know anybody that wants to be a pilot, so support them in that dream, because it really is a rewarding career path, and I would love to help them. Even if it's just, hey, what does this actually look like? And a call to me, I'm happy to walk them through that, whether they go to a proper pilot's flight school or not. Just love to see people really succeeding in something that they love. Beyond that, I mean, you guys have already been so amazing and really giving us everything that you want, but I can't urge you enough that if you have a dream or an idea that one day you would regret not taking action on, I really implore you to come on down to the route and let us at least brainstorm it with you. We have amazingly talented people here that would love to help you make that dream a reality. And I really can't insist enough that you come down, you kind of meet with the ecosystem, you meet with the people, the builders here that are really interested in your success, and they don't need anything out of it. They're just here to help you. And, give yourself the right to kind of explore that idea. You're capable of amazing and creative and wonderful things that can change the world for the better. And maybe you just need to let that out, and the route is the perfect place to do that.
We always encourage to chase your dreams. Yeah, we're not talking people out of that. Well, thanks for coming today, Tim. I cannot wait to see what Proper Pilots has in store.
Well, thank you very much, Brigid.
All right.
Great.